Okay, so now I'm going to teach you about different loops. What is a loop? Okay, so loops, I'm going to tell you about two different loops. In Python, there are while loops and for loops. Okay, so if you don't know what either of those are, I'm going to tell you what they are. So the first loop we're going to look at is called a while loop, and I'm just going to write out something. So let's say we want to print all of the numbers from 0 to 100. Why we would want to do this, I don't know, but let's say that's what we want to do. So I'm going to say so as to not confuse it with the in up here, I'm going to say, let's say L. Nope, I don't like that because it looks like a 1, doesn't it? K is equal to 0, and I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say while K is less than or equal to 100. So now we get to use the less than or equal to. So here we have a comparison operator equals. This is less than or equals. That would just be less than. So while K is less than or equal to 100, we're going to do something. We're going to print K, and then we're going to say K is equal to K plus 1. Okay, we're going to print K, and then we're going to say K is equal to K plus 1. So the logic here is K is equal to 0. When the program enters this while loop, K is equal to 0. So K is less than or equal to 100. So it passes this check here, and now it's going to execute what is done below here. Okay, so it's going to print K, then it's going to say K is equal to K plus 1. Then it's going to go back up to the top of the loop. So at that point, K would be equal to 1. K is, 1 is indeed less than or equal to 100, and it's going to execute this loop again. Now, one thing that I should have mentioned probably on the very first day I started talking about programming, but I definitely should have mentioned it in the previous video, is that the space here, this is a tab. It's not several spaces. It is a tab, and Python treats the tab very importantly. So what's happening here? We have a colon. Everything underneath it needs to be indented one tab, which is what I have here. I have a colon, everything indented is indented by one tab. So whatever is under the if and indented by one tab is what's going to happen if this condition is true. This else, now we're going back, it's not indented by one tab, so this does not get executed if this condition is true. Okay, so similarly here, I've got while K is less than or equal to 100, I have these two lines of code here that are indented. That is what is going to be executed in the while loop. Now let's say at the end, I want to print something like done. I'm going to put that here, or just to be even more funny, maybe you won't think this is funny, I don't know. I'll do mission accomplished. Okay. So now it's going to print all of the numbers from 1 to 100 and then print out mission accomplished here. Okay, but it's not going to write mission accomplished on each iteration of this while loop because this print is not indented. But if I were to indent it like this, it would print mission accomplished every single iteration of the loop. So now if I run this code, it's just going to print all of the numbers from 0 to 100. I'm actually going to change that to 10 because it'll make the output too long. So I'm going to run this code. And there we have it. All the numbers 0 through 10, followed by these words here. And again, it's only the items that are under the while loop after the colon and indented that are going to get executed. That is that the code is going to run. Okay. So another way we could do this is the following. I'm going to come down here and just sort of introduce something new. If I type in range 5. Range is a built-in function in Python, meaning you just have to use it. You don't have to reference a library or anything like that. And what it's going to give you is going to give you all of the integers from 0 to 4. So maybe I can do print some, no, okay. So this range 5 is going to give you, it's an array, and the numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So an array in programming is really just a list of numbers or a list of items. We'll talk more about arrays when we start talking about NumPy, but that's what an array is. It's a list of objects or a list of things. In this case, range of 5 is a list of the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I could also do something like, I'm also going to introduce a for statement. So now I'm going to say for k in range 10, print k. So now range 10 is an array with the integers 0 through 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what this program is going to do is going to say for k in range 10. Okay, so k is equal to 0. It's going to start from k is equal to 0. For k equals 0, it's going to print k. Then it's going to automatically go to the next element in the array, which would be 1. It's going to print 1 until we do all of the elements of the array. So when I run this code, it should be very similar, except it's not going to go up to 10. It's going to go up to 9. Okay, and that's exactly what we get. If we wanted to go up to 11, we have to run it like this. We could also do 1 to 11. Now, if I do 1 to 11, it's going to start at 1 and end 1 less than 11. So now it's going to be like this. If I want to do 10 to 11, it's just going to be 10. Okay, so if I want to do minus 5 and run it, it's going to go minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, all the way up to 10. Okay, so this is a for loop. So this would be another way to accomplish the same thing. So we've talked about two loops. We've talked about while loops. We've talked about for loops. A while loop, so let me write it down here. K is equal to 0 while k is less than or equal to 10. Print k is equal to k plus 1. Okay, so a while loop is going to continue to execute this code. It's going to execute both lines of these code, and then it's going to go back up here, see if the condition is still true, and if it is, it's going to execute those lines again. And as soon as the condition is not true, it's going to go down to the first line of code that's outside of this while block, which in this case would be this. And if we run this, we get exactly what we got before. If I change this to 5, it's going to give me up to 5. Okay, on the other hand, the for loop kind of includes some of this like incrementing process in this part right here. So for k in this range right here, minus 5 to 11, for every element in that list of numbers, it's going to do something. In particular, it's going to print the value of that number there. Okay, I'm going to, yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave it for today. Or not for today, but for this video, that's where I'm going to leave it. And in the next video, we're going to see how we can apply these ideas about for loops to this this problem here. Okay, I'm actually going to use a while loop. Maybe you should try to convert this to a while loop where the idea is if you put n is equal to 255 here and then run this code, it's going to print out all of the list of numbers, you know, from 255 in this collat sequence, in the collat sequence for 255, starting at 255 and then ending at 1. And then you don't want it to repeat this 421 process over and over again. Okay, so like if the output should be something like 255 maybe, and then 766, and then 383, and then 1150, so on and so forth. But not where you're having to press enter each time, just where you press enter once, and it'll give you the whole list from 255, all of the elements in the collat sequence, all the way down to 1. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I know this is kind of a lot. I know it's starting to get maybe a little more technical now, but one of the things when you first learn programming, there's so much stuff. I can't tell you the details of every little, like I can't tell you the details of arrays now, so I'm going to give you some basics of arrays. An array is just a list of numbers in this case, and then once we start talking about NumPy more and more and more, we'll look at arrays more specifically then. But for now, just know something like for k in range minus 5 through 11, range minus 5 to 11 are the integers minus 5 through 10, including 10, but not including 11. And then for every integer in that range, it's going to do something. In this case, it's print k. Let me just mention, it doesn't like the thing that we do here. It doesn't necessarily have to do anything with the index variable k. I could just do something like print the word cat, and it's just going to print cat a whole bunch of times. Okay. At any rate, as we go on, this will make more and more sense.